Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into a market you might not think about every day, but it's absolutely massive and growing rapidly. We're talking about the global board market.
Right.
And when we say board, well, it's everything, isn't it? From the wood panels, maybe in your furniture, home construction.
So the cardboard box your latest online order arrived in.
Exactly. And specialized industrial boards, too. It's
Yeah.
just foundational, kind of everywhere. So our mission here in this deep dive is really to pull out the key nuggets, the most important bits from this big market forecast report. It runs from 2021 right through to 2033. We want to give you, the listener, a shortcut, a way to get quickly informed about this really significant but maybe often overlooked global sector.
Yeah, and it's remarkable, isn't it, how much this market acts as a kind of barometer. When you look at these growth projections for the board market, it gives you this unique lens. You see global economic health, industrial development, even shifts in how we all shop and live. It's one of those foundational industries that, quietly underpins so much else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, as we get into these global figures, what I find really compelling, it's how they reveal these underlying economic stories. Region by region, the global board market isn't just growing. It feels like it's exploding. It's this sort of unsung powerhouse behind, well, so much of the modern world. So the report kicks off with total sales revenue back in 2021. It was around $157 billion, roughly.
The huge starting point already.
Right, and projected to rise to over $193 billion by 2025. And then it surges even further, looking at nearly $300 billion by 2033. That's what a compound annual growth rate, CAGR, of over 5.3%, 5.382% to be exact.
And that annual growth rate, over 5% for a market of this sheer size, this signals really sustained, powerful demand. This isn't some niche area. It's fundamental. It's core to global commerce. Think about it, just the sheer volume of goods being shipped constantly, the need for new housing, commercial buildings.
Even things like flat pack furniture, right?
Exactly. All of it drives demand for these board materials, and that ultimately affects your daily life, whether you realize it or not.
So, okay, what does this mean when we break it down by region? Let's start with Asia Pacific. It holds the largest share and really is the growth engine here. This region alone, it's projected to grow from roughly $63 billion in 2021
$63 billion.
to an astounding $126 billion by 2033.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a CAGR of almost 6%, nearly 6%. It's basically doubling in size.
That scale of growth in Asia Pacific, it really stands out. It just makes you wonder, what are the specific drivers? Policy shifts, maybe massive infrastructure projects, or maybe specific consumer trends fueling that acceleration. You have to think rapid urbanization, huge construction needs.
And e-commerce, surely.
Oh, absolutely. Explosive e-commerce growth driving just unprecedented demand for packaging.
And drilling down within Asia Pacific, it's a story of, diverse surges. China leads the charge, revenue expected to climb from just over $18 billion
$18 billion.
to nearly $37.5 billion by 2033. That's a 6.1% CAGR. But interestingly, India actually shows the highest CAGR in the region, almost 6.8%, growing from around $9 billion to nearly $20 billion.
That's quite a jump for India. Significant.
It is. And Japan's also a major player, revenue hitting over $21.6 billion by 2033. Plus, we're seeing really rapid expansion in places like Singapore, Southeast Asia, Taiwan, all with PGRs well over 5 or even 6%. Okay, now shifting gears a bit from that hypergrowth in Asia, let's look closer to home for maybe many of our listeners. North America, a more mature market, sure, but still presents some fascinating insights. The North American market, it's expected to grow from nearly $40 billion in 2021
$20 billion, okay.
to almost $69 billion by 2033. The CAGR there is about 4.7%. Still pretty respectable.
Yeah, robust growth, definitely. But like you said, a slightly different pace than Asia Pacific. It reflects perhaps different stages of economic development, maybe a more established market base.
Okay.
But we are seeing specific trends here, too. Things like a strong focus on engineered wood products for more efficient construction methods.
Right.
And continued high demand from packaging, again, driven by online retail. That's a constant.
And within North America, the U.S. Leads the region naturally, growing from $33 billion in 2021 to about $56.7 billion by 2033. That's a 4.6% CAGR. Canada is also showing solid expansion, moving from over $4 billion to almost $8 billion by 2033. That's actually a higher CAGR, 5.4%.
Interesting.
And Mexico is on a strong growth path, too, projected to go from $2.4 billion to over $4.3 billion with a 4.9% CAGR. Okay, let's cross the Atlantic, Europe's board market. It also tells a pretty compelling story of growth. It reached just under $31 billion back in 2021.
31 billion.
And it's projected to climb to over $54.4 billion by 2033. That gives it a 4.9% CAGR overall.
And what's particularly interesting in Europe, I think, are the variations within the continent. You see quite different growth rates across nations. It points to diverse market drivers, different economic conditions, country by country.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you also see, perhaps more strongly here, that push towards sustainability, recycled materials. That's definitely influencing demand and innovation in the board market in Europe.
Indeed. So looking at specifics, Germany shows some of the strongest growth, projected to nearly double, from $6.4 billion to $12.1 billion by 2033. That's an impressive 5.5%, almost 5.6% CAGR.
Germany's powerhouse economy showing through there.
Seems like it. The UK is also on a solid upward trend, from about $4.9 billion to over $9 billion. That's a 5.2% CAGR. France, on the other hand, shows more modest growth, but still significant, $3.9 billion up to $6.4 billion, about 4.3% CAGR. Spain looks quite robust, though, 5.1%, nearly 5.2% CAGR, reaching almost $5 billion in 2033.
Right.
And then you have smaller but still strong markets. Sweden at 5.1%, Denmark 4.6%, Switzerland around 4.2%. All right, let's broaden the view now. South America, the Middle East, and Africa. Significant shifts happening here too, even if the overall market sizes are smaller. They reveal new opportunities, different development paths. In South America, the market grows pretty steadily, from nearly $10 billion in 2021.
10 billion start.
To over $19 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of 5.6%, almost 5.7%. Brazil leads the pack there, projected to reach over $8.5 billion by 2033. But Argentina shows really high growth, actually, 6.2% CAGR, hitting $3.5 billion. And Chile is reaching over $2 billion by 2033.
That Argentinian growth rate is notable.
It is. Now, moving to the Middle East, its board market is projected to grow from $8.1 billion in 2021 to $15.6 billion by 2033, a 5.5%, nearly 5.6% CAGR.
Right.
The UAE shows a significant rise to $2.5 billion with an impressive 6.2%, almost 6.3% CAGR.
Wow, UAE's growth is strong.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia, also notable, set to reach over $4.1 billion. And Turkey hitting about $2.7 billion to over $10 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of nearly 5%, 4.956%. Within Africa, South Africa is rising to over $4.1 billion, enjoying a strong 5.5%, almost 5.6% CAGR. And Nigeria is growing to 1.6, almost $1.7 billion.
It's pretty clear, isn't it? These growth rates, they really do reflect such diverse stages of development and industrialization across these regions. But what's truly interesting, I think, is how these trends highlight that increasing global interconnectedness. It impacts everything, right? From raw material supply chains all the way to, the availability of consumer goods in totally different market. And you can sort of read between the lines here. This market growth hints at significant infrastructure projects, maybe rising standards of living, expanding manufacturing capabilities across these really varied regions.
So bringing it all together.
Yeah.
What's the ultimate takeaway? What does it mean for you, for your everyday life?
Well, this deep dive really shows us that the global board market is it's anything but static. It's incredibly dynamic. It's expanding. And you have all these regions and countries showing their own unique growth stories driven by this complex mix of factors all across the globe. It really is one of those hidden giants of the global economy, wouldn't you say? Absolutely, a hidden giant. And, if we connect this to the bigger picture one last time, maybe consider what micro-level innovations within the board market itself might be happening. Things like perhaps new eco-friendly materials coming online, advanced manufacturing techniques, even different construction methods like modular building. These things could be quietly reshaping not just this sector, but the actual physical world around you in the next decade. That simple board might be far more complex and far more influential than we often give it credit for. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise, get you straight to the insights that matter.
That's the plan.
Today we're diving into something pretty fundamental, but maybe overlooked. The global board market.
Right. Seems simple, but it's everywhere.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. The tiny circuits in your phone, the massive panels and buildings. Boards are kind of the invisible backbone.
They really are.
So our mission today, give you a real shortcut to understanding this surprisingly impactful industry.
And we're doing that using insights from cognitive market research, pulling out the key nugget.
The important stuff.
Yeah, so you can get properly informed on this. We'll unpack what's driving growth, the challenges, and what the future looks like. Some fascinating trends there.
Definitely. And as we talk, really think about how this stuff touches your everyday life. It's probably more than you realize.
For sure.
Okay, so let's jump in. What's actually powering the engine here? What's driving the board market right now?
Well, one of the biggest things is just the huge demand coming from electronics and electrical sectors.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
I mean, just look around you right now. You're probably surrounded by smart devices.
Yeah, no kidding. Phone, watch, smart speaker. It's hard to imagine life without them, isn't it?
Exactly.
But is it just like more devices needing boards, or are the boards themselves changing a lot too?
It's really both. As we all grab onto these smart devices, phones, wearables, EVs, all the IoT stuff, the need for printed circuit boards, PCBs, just skyrockets.
Right.
And yeah, these aren't your basic boards. We're talking compact, multi-layered things,
Yeah.
absolutely vital for high-performance electronics.
Packing more power into less space.
Precisely. And you see this demand really concentrated in tech hubs, Asia Pacific, North America. Big centers for this.
Okay, so from tiny circuits to, well, much bigger things, right? Boards
Yes.
aren't just for tech gadgets.
Not at all. That brings us to the second big driver,
Hmm.
the boom in construction and infrastructure globally.
Right, the built environment.
Yeah, think medium density fiber board, MDF particle board, plywood.
Stuff you see in furniture, flooring.
Exactly. Flooring, wall panels, furniture, even modular building. It's everywhere in construction.
And where is this demand strongest?
We're seeing huge growth in places like India, China, Brazil, countries where urbanization is happening fast, and there are big government pushes for affordable housing.
So rapid development really leans on these materials.
Absolutely. They're fundamental to how we build now.
It's just remarkable how this one category, boards, spans microchips to mega projects.
It really does.
And it's not just about using more boards, but making better boards too, right? Innovation must play a part.
Oh, definitely. Technological innovation is the third key driver, and it's really changing the game.
How so?
Well, advances in material science mean we now have boards that are, say, moisture-resistant, flame-retardant,
Stronger, lighter.
lightweight, and even recyclable, which is huge.
Okay. Sustainability creeping in there too.
Exactly. These aren't just minor tweaks. These innovations make boards suitable for really demanding uses. Think aerospace, defense.
High stakes applications.
Right. And they also feed into sustainable construction goals, making them much more appealing.
Okay, those are some powerful growth drivers. Electronics, construction, innovation. It sounds pretty positive,
It is, largely.
but I'm guessing it's not all smooth sailing. What are the hurdles, the challenges this market faces?
Right. Every story has its counterpoints. A major one is fluctuating raw material prices.
Ah, the input costs.
Yeah. Things like copper, fiberglass, wood, resins. Their prices bounce around based on global markets.
So what causes that volatility?
All sorts of things. Supply chain snarls like we've seen recently.
Yeah.
Changes in trade rules, new regulations on mining or forestry.
And that hits the manufacturers directly.
Directly. It impacts their costs, their margins. It creates a lot of uncertainty.
Okay, so materials are one headache. What about actually making the boards? Any issues there?
Oh, yeah. Environmental and regulatory challenges are a big one.
Because of the chemicals used.
Exactly. Things like formaldehyde, certain adhesives that aren't biodegradable. There are increasingly strict rules about this stuff,
Especially in certain regions.
particularly in Europe and North America. Complying with these regulations adds significant operational costs.
Which could make it tough for smaller companies.
Definitely. It can be a real barrier to entry or just staying competitive for the smaller players.
So, high costs, tricky regulations, sounds like a tough operating environment.
Yeah.
Is the competition fierce too?
You bet. That's the third restraint. Intense market competition and fragmentation.
Meaning lots of players.
Loads of them. Local companies, global giants, all offering pretty similar products, often competing hard on price.
Which leads to?
Price war sometimes makes it hard to stand out, differentiate your product. And they can squeeze profitability.
You see that across the board or in specific segments.
It's particularly noticeable in, say, the PCB market and the plywood segment. Very crowded spaces.
So quite a few challenges to navigate there.
For sure.
Okay, so bearing those hurdles in mind, where does the market go from here? What are the sort of exciting future trends?
Well, despite the challenges, there's definitely momentum. First off, sustainability is becoming massive.
We touched on that with materials.
Right. It's a major trend now. A real push towards greener materials, recyclable boards, wood from certified sustainable forests, low-emission glues, and resins.
And who's driving that?
Builders aiming for green building certifications, like LE.
Yeah.
And also just us, consumers. We're increasingly aware and want eco-friendly products.
That makes sense. A
Yeah.
really important shift. And thinking back to the electronic side, that relentless drive for smaller, faster tech must be a trend too.
Absolutely. Miniaturization in electronics is the second big trend.
How's that showing up in boards?
We're seeing the rise of things like high-density interconnect HDI and more complex multi-layer boards.
HDI meaning packing more connections into less space.
Exactly. It's what allows for these incredibly sleek, compact devices. Think foldable phones, tiny medical implants, the complex systems needed for self-driving cars.
Wow.
These advanced boards deliver huge performance in a minimal footprint. They're essential for, well, future tech.
Really cutting edge stuff. Okay, and one last trend. How about the actual manufacturing process itself? Is that changing?
Oh, massively. The third trend is the integration of Industry 4.0.
So automation, AI.
Yep, automation, IoT sensors everywhere, AI for process optimization, even digital twins.
Digital twins, like a virtual copy of the factory.
Sort of, yeah. A virtual model of the physical production line. Lets you monitor in real time, simulate changes, catch problems early.
And the benefits.
Huge. Better efficiency, much higher accuracy, real-time quality checks, more flexibility for custom orders, and less wasted material.
So smarter, faster.
And greener manufacturing, ultimately. The production line itself is becoming high-tech.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. It sounds like the global board market is really at this interesting crossroads. Innovation on one side, regulation and cost pressures on the other.
That's a good way to put it.
Challenges like, volatile costs and fierce competition are definitely there. But these powerful trends, sustainability, super advanced electronics, digital manufacturing, they seem to be pushing the industry into a whole new era.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And when you understand this market, you start seeing this hidden layer of, like, complexity and real innovation behind so many things we use every day.
It's way more dynamic than you might first think.
Much more.
All right, so here's a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. Next time you buy a smart gadget, or even just a piece of furniture, think about what we discussed.
Yeah, consider how those trends.
Right, like miniaturization or the push for recyclable materials, or maybe even how AI helped make it. How might that have actually impacted its design, its performance, maybe even what you paid for it?
What new possibilities does all that open up?
Exactly, something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious and stay well informed.